It's now time to draw. We are going to look at shapes and different ways of selecting these shapes. So within my tools, there is a little icon that looks like a rectangle, which is my shape drawing menu. If I click my left mouse button and I hold it down, I am going to keep these features open if I want to select subcategories like an ellipse tool, so for drawing a circle, or a star tool to draw a star, or a triangle. And if I go all the way to the extremity here and I hold and then let go my left mouse button, it's going to undock all my shapes. So let's look at some of these shapes. The first one, the rectangle tool, is exactly that. It's going to allow me to draw a rectangle. I have the ability to change the fill and the stroke of the rectangle, just like my text. So if I select my object with the black arrow tool, I'm going to have this type of box around. If I select a corner, nothing is going to happen with the black arrow tool. All I can do is move my object around. If I take my subselection tool, the white arrow tool, and click on one of the corners, you're going to see right away up here this changed, which means that something happened within Illustrator. And that something is I have the ability to just select corners and change my shape. With the black arrow tool, I cannot do that. I'm at the corner. I don't have the ability to change the shape, only move it as a whole. So let's look at ellipses, so circles. So now I'm going to draw a circle. I can change the fill and the stroke down here, just in case you're curious what they were for. If I select it and hit reverse, it's going to do exactly that. Now, if I zoom in, which is Control plus or Control minus, as well as I could always do zoom in, zoom out under my view menu, or Control plus, Control minus. If I select my object with the black arrow tool, I have the ability to move the object around. If I select the object with my white arrow tool and I click on one of what are called anchor points, I'm going to have the ability to change that anchor point. How you find these anchor points, you have to zoom in. Sometimes it's hard to see that little square. So you can always go view, outline, and it's going to show you the path rather than the object. So if I go view preview, it's going to return to default. I can select these anchor points. So one thing that you guys have all probably noticed are these two kind of, well, this one line that is a tangent with my circle. This tangent line actually allows me to kind of tilt the tolerance of the curve. This is using trigonometry to display what kind of curve should be found between one point and the other. So right now, this doesn't seem like all too much, but it's really important to just play with this and be able to manipulate an object a little bit. And the last thing I want to look at here is the star tool. If I select the star tool and I double click on my canvas, it's going to pop up a window with a few more options. If you want to make a perfect triangle in Illustrator, select the star tool, bring the points down to 3, and then hit OK. Now it allows me to draw perfect triangles. If I want to manipulate, so if I want to move some of these triangles around, I can take the black arrow tool and do it as so. If I select the white arrow tool and I go to some of the corners, I'm going to be able to further alter these shapes, which can be very useful, especially when we learn the illustrious pen tool. So that's a little bit about shapes. Please go and draw some shapes. Use the different arrow tools to kind of mold them a little bit. Feel free to get creative. A good exercise would be to take an initial and try to cover it with shapes. Example, this M could be done in 4 rectangles.